A choice is set before you now, living or dying, blessing or cursing. And no, the time has come around to turn from your fighting and rest in His mercy. Choose life that you might live, the life that He gives you forever. Choose life the way that is true, from the one who chose you, your Father in heaven. Choose life. Trust the Lord with all your heart, with all of your soul, and all of your being. Hold on, listen and obey. Surrender your life into His keeping. Choose life that you might live, the life that He gives you forever. Choose life the way that is true, from the one who chose you, your Father in heaven. Choose life, and the weight you're under will be lifted away. And the world will wonder what happened here today. And you'll stand right there and say, choose life that you might live, the life that He gives you forever. Choose life the way that is true, from the one who chose you, your Father in heaven. Choose life. A choice is set before you now, living or dying, blessing or cursing. And no, the time has come around to turn from.
So welcome everybody to this session, Choose Life session on mental health. We're really happy to have you all join this session. So before we begin, I would like to hand over for prayer. I request Mr. Rajkumar Uncle to start off with a prayer for the session.
Dear God, we thank you so much for your help thus far in Choose Life programs. And Lord, that we're eagerly looking forward for this session, which we understand it's so important in this time for many of us, Lord. Lord, we pray that you will help us to understand the truths which are talked about, the clinical details, help us to comprehend in our simple mind, so that we'll be able to help others as well as be of content will be used to us as well. pray for every one of other members who are yet to join. We pray that they'll be able to, you may help them to join quickly. Pray that you will prevail, your presence may prevail over as a speaker shares with us her insight. And pray that for the following question and answer sessions too, we pray that you will bless them. So we ask in Jesus' precious name.
Amen. Thank you, Uncle. So today is the part 1 series on mental health, and this would be from a clinical perspective. So mental health now is something we are starting to hear about. It's not like maybe 50 years ago where maybe people didn't talk about it much. We are hearing about it, but still a lot of us lack clarity on it. And sometimes through the ups and downs that we go through in our lives, we are unable to really process what's happening to us, or how to really cope with that, or help somebody else who's going through lows or having mental health challenges, how to really help them or engage them in a meaningful way without just giving them shallow answers to what they're facing. So for that, sometimes our intuition is not enough. We really need to listen out to people who are professional, who are experienced. And so for that, we have our speaker here, Divina Richu-Denny. So she is a licensed clinical psychologist, and she has done her MSc in psychology as well as MPhil in clinical psychology. And she is a consultant clinical psychologist at Fitterly, Cure Shop, Solace, and also freelancing. Her native is in Thrissur, Kerala, and she is part of the East Fort Brethren Church. And also she is married to Jasper, who's a year and a half now. So with that introduction as well, before we move on to the session, I would also like to highlight, please put your questions forward in the chat. So if you would not want to put it publicly out there for everyone, you can just put it to me, and I would towards the end of the session, we will address the questions. So that's why maybe you must be wondering why I have named myself as questions. So that is because you can put your questions to me, and then towards the end, we will address that. So with that, I will hand it over to Divina.
So a very good evening all. So I really thank God and the BMC who has given me this opportunity to talk about a very sensitive topic, that is mental health. It is the need of the hour, and I'm so glad that you all have prioritized your mental health and you have come here to listen to this topic. So I want everyone to uphold me in your prayers. I was suffering from cold since the past 1 week, and today God has given me the health to talk to you. So if I'm sipping water in between, please excuse me. So I'll just share my screen with you. Just let me know whether you can see the screen. Is it visible? Is it visible?
Yes, Divina.
Sure. So today I will be talking about the clinical perspective of mental health. Since we have a spiritual or a biblical perspective, part 2, that is coming up in the next week, I'll be sticking to the clinical perspective for today. There were a list of topics Mrs. Annie had given me to cover. I will try to cover everything. Mostly generally I've clubbed topics like stress and stress management together, and awareness of mental health as a different part in this presentation itself. So hope everybody will benefit from this talk. So my objectives in this session is this, that I want to make you understand the different stressors that we are going through, how to manage them, or some techniques, stress management techniques, get a general understanding about some common mental health issues. We'll not be able to cover everything, but some really common mental health issues right now, how to identify the red flags and take actions at the right time. And I'll also introduce to you the brief introduction to the methods, the treatment methods in psychiatry as well, because that is also something people are not well aware of. So first, I'll just tell you what is mental health. Okay. So usually we think if you're not having any mental illness, we are all mentally healthy. Is it true or not? That is something we'll discover now. Okay, according to WHO, the definition of mental health, I've just broken it into 4 parts. Okay, so a person with a good mental health is will be able to realize his own or her own abilities. What is my talent? What are my abilities? A well awareness or realization will be there. He or she will be able to cope up with most of the stressors in life, will be productive and fruitful. Okay. And the fourth one is they will even be able to contribute to the society, the community, the church. They will even be able to contribute. So here I will be focusing on coping with the stressors of life, that part specifically. So if you have all these things, you have a good mental health. These days we do everything for physical health, right? We do exercise, we follow diet programs, we do a lot of things for physical health. But if I ask you, what do you do for your mental health? That is also a part of your body, right? God has given you mental health and physical health. But why is mental health not, prioritized? Why is only physical health prioritized? Is it the lack of awareness? Is it the stigma that is around it? Is it the movies, the influence of the movies? Mental illness means a serial killer, or maybe someone who's really insane, having all psychotic symptoms. Is it that? We'll all discover this. We'll get answers for this, hopefully, from this session. Okay. So now I just want to differentiate between worry and stress, because stress, worry, anxiety, depression, everything is nowadays used as layman terms. If a person is if a child is having an exam, the child might say, "Oh my God, I'm so anxious." And I'm surprised. Okay, anxiety is a totally different thing. Probably he might be stressed, right? Even a 9-year-old, even a child can be stressed. Why not? Now, what is the difference between worry and stress? I'll differentiate for you people. Okay. So worry is basically, suppose I have an exam. Okay. I have this presentation right now. And I am thinking like, oh my God, I hope my network is fine and I'm audible, visible, everything is fine. I'm not very good with Zoom meeting. I'm good with Google Meet. All those thoughts that are there in my mind, it is kind of a concern and worry. It is just in my mind. They are just thoughts. It's not going to affect my body. Now, stress is a little different. You have thoughts. With thoughts, I also have physiological reactions in my body. For example, the same situation, I'm having a presentation and I'm feeling like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. My heartbeat is increasing. I'm keeping on sipping water and I cannot sit. I'm little restless. So that is a little bit of stress. Now, there are 2 types of stress, eustress and distress. Eustress usually happens. It's a good stress. Actually, it is good for performance. So right before a performance or right before a presentation, everybody, most of us feel that way. Actually, sometimes that enhances our performance, enhances our confidence as well. But if the stress is not channelized in the productive manner, and then you forget, or you're kind of really stress is so overwhelming that it is taking a lot of toll on your bodily features, like bodily symptoms, then it is something that you really need to address. Now, stress is a very, very normal and a common thing that everybody face. What are the common stressors of life? Okay. Even a 4-year-old child will have his or her own stress. We are nobody to, underestimate that. Even a 90-year-old person will have his stress. If I ask a 4-year-old child, he might say, tomorrow onwards, I'm going to school. It's so stressful. For a 90-year-old person, maybe my health is so bad. I don't know when. I'm having death anxiety. I'm having, my children are not there. I'm so stressed. All our areas of life, we have stress. But again, the question is, what have we done for that till now? Even though it is so common in our life, right? So the first, these are lists of some stressors. I wouldn't go in detail of this. I have set some therapies or some techniques that is applicable for all age groups, all types of stressors. Okay, so that I will make you understand the techniques more. So usually, like I've mentioned here, financial worries, family issues, studies or exams, life transitions, work stress, which is very, very, very common right now. Uh, Being a caregiver is also a stressor for, taking care of old parents, children who are having disabilities and problems with relationship. And one common stress that I'm seeing right now in my practice is lack of commitment to the decisions that they make. So a person, they might take a decision, I'm taking this course, but when they take that course, they're so stressed that I should have taken that other course. They cannot commit to one thing that they have taken. Okay, they just want to jump to different options, which is causing stress lately to a lot of people. So this is also something that are, there for the stressors and everything. For students, of course, learning difficulties can be a stress. All those things are stresses. Now, what can we do about it? Now, another thing I want you to understand is, what are the common unhealthy ways I've seen in my practice that they usually use for stress management? Okay. One very bad way is avoiding the stressor. I have an interview tomorrow. I am stressed. My body, my heartbeat is increasing. My stomach is getting upset. Everything is there, and I decided not to attend the interview. That is like I'm avoiding the stressor. For a child, I'm not going to school, mama. Today I have exam. That they won't tell. I'm having stomach pain. I'm so sick. They're avoiding the stresses. No parent should actually encourage that, because that behavior will be there in the child, in the adulthood as well, avoiding of stresses. Okay, so that's one thing. That's an unhealthy way of managing with stress. Using unhealthy substances. Don't think it is not common among us. It is very common among us. Especially smoking is related to stress management. So many of the youngsters come and tell me, ma'am, what are you saying? Like, smoking really helps me manage my stress. Is it? Maybe a temporary stress relief smoking can give, because the element that is there in it, it actually helps to reduce your stress for a period of time. But this being a behavior or pattern will actually increase your stress. So guys, if anybody in your friend circle is telling you, I'm experiencing the calmness when I'm smoking, when I'm stressed, you can tell them, like, with confidence, that maybe now, but over a period of time, just see how much more you're taking and how is it actually helping you in a long term. The next one is a very subtle way, and unfortunately a very much socially accepted way of coping with stress, which is emotional eating. So how many of us, I'm sure, like, even I was having this pattern where when I'm stressed, I like to munch on something. I like to eat something. I like to eat something sweet. है ना? Like, we like to munch on something, which is like an emotional eating part. Now, when I say emotional eating, it is actually encouraged from childhood itself. Imagine a child is crying. Okay. What do? We give them a chocolate. Take this chocolate, you will feel better. Or come out, we'll go for dinner. So where is it reinforced? In childhood itself? That is, stress is equal to eating food and keeping myself calmer. This is one of the leading causes to obesity, diabetes, and all the lifestyle disorders that are currently present. So be mindful about emotional eating. The next one is excessive spending on social media. Now, this is so common right now. Yeah. So usually what happens is, whenever you feel low, the easiest method is take your phone, scroll through Instagram or YouTube, right? But what do you feel after turning off the social media? Even worse, because the stressor is right there. That's not gone. It is just an avoidance of the stressor. It's really linked to the first point that I've told. Okay. And the next one, the last one, is getting angry. Some people are there, especially the elderly people, if you see, when they're stressed, they shout at everybody at the house. Like, they'll just shout at their wife, they'll shout at their children, everywhere, they'll just shout, and then afterwards they feel calm. This is also a bad way of coping with stress. Now, there are multiple bad ways. These are some of the common ones I wanted to discuss. Now, okay, now we have discussed the bad ways. Now, what about the healthy ways, right? So these are few methods that I'm telling you, which will help you. This is not only for stress management, this is also to enhance your mental health. It is always, like I said, this is the answer for what can you do for enhancing your mental health, preserving your mental health, taking care of it. So one is breathing exercise. I'll get into the details. Second is setting control boundaries, scheduling regular intervals. This is something that I really wanted to emphasize. If suppose I'm working, okay, I'm working and then I'm feeling stressed, a lot stressed, okay. Usually what we do is we'll sit there and we'll start working itself because you need to finish it. Instead of that, it is much, much important to take a break, get up from there, take a 5 minute break, walk, drink some water, come back. This is much more important. Do not use your phones during the small intervals. You can go for a walk, you can sip some water, you can do small, small activities that will take 5-10 minutes. For example, doodling. Okay, drawing something, doodling something. I'm not telling you to spend one extra hour in between your work to do that. Download some pictures. If you're inclined to drawing or something, download some pictures that you can draw quickly. It should be as easy as taking your phone and going through the social media. There should be a folder, a physical or a virtual, online folder, which is ready. You just need to open. You feel like drawing, take one drawing, draw it. Okay, as easy as that. Because when you're stressed, you will not have the mindset to think what to draw. That is where you again go back to your phone, because that is the easiest option. Okay, so have a folder or something which has those material. Have a folder where you have your songs, okay, your spiritual songs that uplift you, spiritual songs, or songs that really help you enhance your mood. Okay, those also can be of some songs are really good for us, like you really connect to it. Those songs can be a folder where you just need to open it, listen to one or two songs. Maybe breathing also can be something that you can do for the short breaks, and then come back and sit for your work. Just try that once. You will see your stress is reduced. If this is applicable for students, people who are working, even for housewives or anybody who is doing a work and getting stressed, this is very important. Okay. Ventilation. Now, ventilation is also one technique we can use. Ventilation is like you're telling what you feel like, your stress, you're sharing it to somebody else. You're sharing it to someone, your family member, or it can be somebody else. It's not, some people, especially men, I've seen, they're not comfortable talking about their stress to someone. And trust me, having therapy for men is quite difficult. Women will tell all their issues. I don't have to tell anything. They'll just talk, and I understand. Men, I have to probe a lot. Okay, what is it? What is it? It is actually a social thing. We have given that strong image to men. So they don't know how to ventilate. Okay, that is why probably men, sometimes they are very angry and they ventilate it that manner. So if you're a person who is not comfortable talking it to someone else, you can write it down. Okay, bring it out somehow. Okay, prayer is always a thing, but I'm not getting into the spiritual perspective. Again, I'm repeating. So here you can write down. Expressive writing can be something. Today one of my members were telling me, when I'm really sad, I really want to talk to my mom, and my mom does not be available because she is working. Then I'm so stressed. So today, one technique that I've told her is write letters to mom. I mean, not going to send it or something, but as if you're going to write it, just write letters to your mom. Okay, so that you're telling her, even though she's not available. That is one way of ventilation. Exercise is a beautiful way of ventilation. Art is a beautiful way of ventilation. There's something called expressive art, where in one page, this can be used for children as well, any age group, but people who are inclined to drawing again. Like, divide the page into two. At one side, you draw what you feel like. What are you feeling right now? At one side, you draw what you want to be, or more of a peace giving picture. Okay, so your brain thinks, you're ventilating also, and your brain is, you're encouraging yourself to think in a more peaceful manner as well. So that is also one way of ventilation. Playing an instrument, hobbies, everything is a way of ventilation, ventilating your emotions. Okay. Then again, the exercise and everything, which I'll come in detail. Now, breathing, okay? Breathing exercise, what we can do here, I've just selected one. There are a lot of types of breathing, okay? Diaphragmatic breathing, imagery breathing, box breathing. This kind of breathing is specifically for stress, box breathing, okay? So here, we will be inhaling. Inhaling means taking your breath in for 4 seconds. You're taking 4 seconds and you're breathing in. You're holding your breath for 4 seconds. Okay. You're not inhaling, you're not exhaling, you're just holding your breath for 4 seconds. You're exhaling for 4 seconds. That is, you're breathing out, taking 4-second time. You're holding your breath again for 4-second time. Like you see, it's a very rhythmic breathing. Now, what is the rationale behind it? Okay, breathing seems very fancy for some people. Oh, does that really help? Okay, I've just seen this in movies and everything. Trust me, it really helps. Because when you're stressed, there's a hormone that is called cortisol, which is being released. And that is the reason that your heartbeat and all is increasing. Breathing will help you to calm your nerves, to calm your cortisol level and your nerves, which will help you reduce your stress levels. Okay, we will be doing the demo session of this at the end of the session. Okay, so we will also practice 2 minutes of box breathing before the end of the session. The next one is setting control boundaries. Now, this is also a very good technique that I've seen in my clinical practice that has helped a lot of my members. Okay. When you're stressed, what is the problem is there is a lot of what you say, issues that are not in your control. For example, if I am giving a presentation right now, okay, I can what is in my control when I'm giving a presentation? What is in my control is this, that I can prepare for my presentation. I can prepare my slides in advance. I can write down what I need to talk in my thing. So all those things that are my control, I'm writing down inside the hand ka image, like over here. Okay. And outside the hand, I'm writing things I cannot control, which only God can control. For example, suddenly emergency manner, there is a power cut. Maybe my internet is off. Is that my control? Is there any point of me thinking of that and being stressed? Sometimes what happens is when we think of things that I'm sure like 70% of things are not in our control, what we are stressed about. There's nothing. For example, COVID was there, right? Many of them had plans to get married, to go abroad and study and everything. They were doing everything. Lockdown came. Can we do anything about it? There's nothing that we can do about it. Why I'm telling now, all these points, there's nothing new I told you. Okay, there are things that are not in my control. There are things in my control. Everyone knows that. But why am I writing it in this very funny format? There's a hand, and why am I writing it in this format? The rationale behind this is when you write your things that I cannot control, when you write it, and when you write what I can control, it stays in your mind. Once you have thoughts that are related to not in my control, this acts as a visual cue. You suddenly get reminded that, listen, this is not my control. I have to focus on things that I can control, which you have already written it down there. Because behind this paper, you're also going to write down solutions for it so that we can be more solution focused than stress focused. Okay, this is a little bit of a little complicated, but I think I've made it simple. Towards the end, if you have any doubt regarding this, you can ask. Okay, so this is why I want you to write it down. This will really help you to sort out your thoughts, because no more that thought that is not in your control will for example, like the electricity, that will not give power because you've already written it down and you can focus on things that you can control better. Now, this is something which is applicable for avoiding mental health issues, stress management, for even normal health issues. Okay. Post the COVID or post the geo, one common problem everybody is facing is sleep issues, including children. I'm not giving you any age group. I would say even elders, parents, everybody right now, it is the new norm. Phone is something that we cannot leave aside. Now here, sleep hygiene will actually really help you to enhance your sleep. We all need to prioritize our sleep. Now the tips that I'm going to tell, some of this you will be already knowing. The problem will be, I know all this, but I just don't know how to keep my phone away or prioritize my sleep better. Here, what I'll tell you is, have a sleep hygiene or have a sleep routine. Always keep this thing in mind. 30 minutes before your sleep should be relaxing and not stimulating. This is one golden rule. Okay. 30 minutes before your sleep should be relaxing. So what can you do? Planning for the next day, all those heated arguments, calling your colleagues and planning the next day, all those things can be avoided during that time. Phone, TV, everything can be avoided during that last 30 to 40 minutes. Okay. You can actually, like the meditation, like for example, the breathing you can do. You can slip to your comfortable, you can keep two pairs of clothes that you use only for sleep, so that the pairing is there between that cloth and that sleep. Use bed only to sleep. Nowadays, we watch phone on bed, we talk on bed, we do a lot of things on bed. The pairing between the bed and sleep is so impaired. Okay. Use your bed only to sleep. When you hit the bed, it should be a signal for the brain that you're going to sleep. Okay, that is one thing that you need to do. Again, the routine, when I talk about it, you can take a lukewarm water bath. Again, not just before your sleep, 40 minutes prior to your sleep, you can take a lukewarm water bath. That will actually de-stress you, make your body calmer. If you have an AC in your room, you can on the AC. And when you take a hot water bath and when you come to the room, your body temperature is dropping. That is good for sleep, actually. Okay. You can use eye masks, because some people have the tendency to wake up in between sleep. So you can use eye masks to, actually make it dark if you're comfortable with it again. And keep your phone on a nearby table or a desk. Okay, nearby table or a desk, you can keep it. And one more thing that I really want to tell you is this. In case you're a person who tells me, like, without seeing a video, I cannot sleep. Now, this is a very common issue. I see something or hear something and then I fall asleep. That is my habit now. Well, it is a bad habit actually, because what you see in the end actually affects your next day mood and your sleep quality. You might be sleeping, but the quality might be bad. Okay. So for that, to replace that behavior, you can do two things. Either you can lie down and focus on your normal breathing. How you normally breathe, like up, down, just focus on your lungs, your stomach, how it is going. That is something that you're concentrating. Again, that is not stimulating. That is very relaxing. It's a boring activity. You will slip to sleep. Okay. Another common thing you can do with your children or with yourself is also count from 1 to 100 or 100 to backward. This will also help you to fall asleep. Again, in your mind, it is a boring activity. You will slip to sleep. Okay. One issue with work from home is this, that you don't get enough sunlight exposure. Sunlight is very, very important for sleep, because it is the raw material that makes an element called melatonin in your brain, which induces sleep. Now, if you're having a tube light on, if you're not having enough sunlight, what is the problem is this, that you're not producing enough melatonin that is giving you sleep. So daytime, get at least 15 minutes of daytime, good sunlight. And then night, the room should be dark. So these small tips, if you, do, it will help you. Now, if you're a person who sleeps at 1 o'clock, if you're a student who sleeps at 1 o'clock, aim for 12:30 for the next week. Do not aim for 10 o'clock. That's a mistake people do. Tomorrow onwards, I'm going to sleep at 10 p.m. It's not going to work like that. You have a body clock. So sleep at 12:30, then slowly increase it to 12, 11:30, and slowly go gradually you can improve your sleep. This is very, very important for stress management and all the mental health issues. At least 30 minutes of physical activity is a must for everybody. Like I said, the stress hormone is there. So very important to exercise and calm your body a little more. It is good for sleep also. It is good for health also. And, your mental health as well. And for stress management. Even drinking, hydrating yourself, and drinking some water will also help you a lot. So the thing, like, even one more difference that I was telling now is about, okay, that I'll tell you later. Now, next one, I am going to talk about what are the mental health disorders that you have. Okay. So what are the disorders usually we have is something, and what is a mental disorder is the definition again by WHO. Okay. So now we spoke about mental health, stress, and the management. Here, If a person has a mental disorder, there will be significant disturbance in the individual's thoughts, how the person is thinking. There will be a lot of uh, differences in that. There will be a lot of emotional regulation problems. The person might cry a lot, maybe sometimes even inappropriately laugh a lot, do certain things without any control, all those things. Even behavioral differences will be there. So, three things: the person's thought will be influenced, significantly disturbed, the person's emotions will be significantly disturbed, the behavior, the way he is acting, his all those other things will be disturbed, and this will be significant enough to impair his daily functioning is the social factors, going to places, meeting people will be disturbed, occupation will be disturbed, he cannot focus on his work, he will be very disturbed with his work, family, studies. There will be a significant sometimes there will be some significant difficulties or impairment in all these functioning areas. So this is where a person has a mental disorder. Now I'll just tell you in detail what are we going to cover and what are we going to do. Now, the most common problem that I also have in my clinic, and according to statistics, is major depressive disorder. Now, there is a difference between sadness and depression. Sadness, blue moons, not feeling good, and depression, there is a lot of difference actually. Okay. So, the problem is we use it very layman. Like I said, even a child will say, I'm depressed. Of course, I'll talk about childhood depression and everything. So here, these are the criteria to identify or diagnose a person with having clinical depression. The first three symptoms that you see in the right are the primary symptoms. That is, the person's mood will be low. There will be loss of interest or interest in doing activities the person used to like. Suppose I like doing singing. I like singing. Now I've stopped singing. I don't enjoy it anymore. I might do it maybe because of force, but I don't enjoy it at all. Or I might just lose the interest. I'll not do it also. Fatigability, like a lot of weakness. Before I used to run a lot. Now if I walk like little bit itself, I feel little weak, lethargic. These are the three primary symptoms of depression. The other things are the secondary symptoms, which is the person will have difficulty in concentrating, paying attention. She cannot listen to what I'm saying, get lost. The mind wanders here and there most of the time. Self-esteem will be, I feel bad about myself, my image, I feel ugly. I feel like, there's nothing I can do. There'll be a lot of self-confidence issues. I feel very guilty for things that are not my control. I don't have to feel guilty, but I feel guilty for everything. And also I'll feel my future is very blurred. No, I don't see much of a future or anything. Ideas of self-harm and suicide. Now this is very tricky. When I say self-harm or the suicide, it is not necessary the person will come and tell us I feel like dying or I have planned. It can even be a wish like, I don't know why I'm living, I just wish God comes and the world is over. That is also a death wish. If a person is saying, like how many people are dying, having disorders and everything, I just wish COVID comes and God takes me away. This is also a suicidal or a death wish. Disturbed sleep or sleeping more than needed, diminished appetite, eating very less or even eating too much, eating throughout the day can also be symptoms. It is not necessary a person should have all these 10 symptoms to classify as a clinical depression. Okay. At least two of the first primary symptoms, like two of the three symptoms in the beginning, and at least two of the second, like from 4 to 10, if it is there for continuous 2 weeks, then the person is classified as having clinical depression. Of course, you cannot, diagnose them. You need a proper professional to diagnose them at the end. But these are alarming signs. Okay, this is where you really need to help yourself or others. Pay attention to the symptoms, pay attention to the behavior alone of your kids, of your friends, of your husbands, wives. You will understand. If you see a significant difference in their behavior, Ask them, what is happening? What are you doing? One common mistake I've seen a lot of the family members do is they bombard them with solutions. Do this, do that. I think before when I had this issue, I did this and this got corrected. That person, everybody's journey is different. Do not bombard them with solution. Ask them open-ended question. How do you feel? Do not ask them, you feel bad? Are you feeling angry? No, don't ask them that. Just ask them, how do you feel? They'll take some time. They'll tell, I don't feel good. Ask them, are you comfortable talking to me about it? If they say no, leave it. Do not, you can encourage them. You can tell them, are you sure? You don't, anytime you want to talk to someone, you have my number. I'm always there. Do not force them to tell. Okay. Maybe they don't have that, they don't feel your confidential. Respect their space sometimes, right? That is one thing you can do for them. But again, be keen to whatever they're saying. Some people, now I'll tell you, there are other things also, very important things I have to tell in depression. I will take some time in this because this is one of the commonest, and 43% of the people in India, they are going through clinical depression, right from mild, moderate, and severe levels as well. And people, WHO says 1 among 7 individuals are going through clinical depression. Okay, so that this is a very serious problem people are handling. Now, like I said, 2 consecutive weeks, if it is there, it is classified and everything. Now, when you come to a clinic, if you bring them to a clinic, there will be tools, BDI and screening tools, and the therapist and the psychiatrist with the clinical judgment, seeing them also, we will be giving them diagnosis. And in depression also, I wanted to understand 2 different things, which is dysthymia and mask depression. Dysthymia is something, another name is persistent depressive disorder. Another layman term is high functional depressive disorder. These people, they'll be going to office, okay? They'll be doing everything rightly, on time. They're good with everything. But still inside, they feel low. And at least for 1 year, they will be feeling that. Then they'll be classified as dysthymia. It will not be, there will be some phases in that 1 year where their depression is very high, but otherwise, most of the days they feel low, like not at all interested. Sometimes we feel their personality is like that only. It is not the personality is like that. It is a disorder. And the symptoms might not be as severe, but it is long standing. It is more difficult to diagnose someone with dysthymia actually. Okay. And they are the ones who really need help. They also don't know that they need help. That's the problem, because they are going to college, they're going to work, they're everything, but then there's something missing. They don't feel good. They're going to church, they're praying, but still they're not feeling. Why? Because the hormones are taking a lot of role. Okay. And one myth that people have is, if you have depression, we ask them why you have depression, what happened. Not everybody will have a reason for depression. That is one of the biggest stigma, and that is one of the reason people are confused why I'm feeling like this. There's nothing significant that happened, but why am I feeling like this? Because there are hormones that are playing, that is neurotransmitters that are playing a lot of role in your mind, in your brain, like serotonin, norepinephrine, dopamine. If there are like highs and lows of these hormones, it will have, this is a medical condition. Like how you say you have dengue, or you have cancer, you have heart issues, it is as serious as that. Just because you cannot see it in a scan does not mean it does not exist. Okay, this is there, this is real problems. I'll tell you the how to deal with it also, but identifying that, understanding them is very important. Now, another term is mask depression, which I see a lot these days actually. There was a girl who came to my clinic. She was very very energetic and very bubbly girl. I was thinking why she came, what is her issue. She said, I'm not feeling good. And then she's saying, I'm depressed, smiling. Okay. And initial stages of my practice, I was wondering, how is she depressed? Because our image of depression is crying face, sitting alone in a room, not sleeping. No, she is but she's like, I feel empty. I don't feel anything. I don't feel sad. I don't feel happy. If a person dies in front of me also, I don't feel anything. Absolutely nothing. I'm just so emotionless. What do I do? And she's laughing. And then I asked her, what is the issue? And then she had a stressor actually. She had something, a lot of rejections and everything from interviews. And now she feels life is less meaningful. It's just, if I live, I live. If I don't live, I don't live. So she's been doing, when I asked her, her symptom is she's spending all her money she saved on something because she doesn't have a purpose in life. Now you see how the manifestation of symptoms are coming. Now she's using her money for all, buying whatever she wants, being careless about the future because she does not care. She does not want to live somewhere. This was something I'm scared to suicide. I will not suicide, but I wish, some, like when I'm going, a car hits me and I can die easily without pain. Now you see the manifestation of this. Sometimes even like people, we tag some people as strong people. Oh my god, he's such a strong person, she's a very strong girl, she's a very nice girl, she will not have any problem. Now they're also confused, right? They kind of hide their emotions, they feel guilty why they're feeling this way. They have everything. You've seen celebrities committing suicide, you've seen a lot of successful people committing suicide or going through a lot of depression. Why? They don't feel understood. They sometimes feel like, why am I, they don't know why am I feeling. At the end they feel, why am I living? What is the point of living for so many years? I'm not myself, I'm not expressing myself. This is where some people make the biggest mistake. You don't look depressed. Some people might have the tendency to come and tell you that I'm feeling low. You don't look depressed, it's just the feeling. No, if the person is saying that, it's a that itself is a red alarm. Pay attention to the sentences, ask them open-ended questions, and be non-judgmental. These people will have negative view about the world. Everything is so unfair. It is just so bad. The world is such a bad place to stay. They will have negative views about the future. So these are the contents that they will tell you. Even they don't look depressed. These will be the content of their speech. That is why I've put this in the slide. Okay, negative view of the future. There's nothing in future. It's okay. They do not like themselves. Okay, negative view about themselves. I'm just a very useless person. Why do I have to live? If you see these content in their speech, that is also a red light alarm. Now, I've added all these pictures for depression because even this can be depression, even this can be depression, even a successful person, even a social media influencer can be a depression. If you ask her, she's just hiding she just want to feel good with the validation she's getting. So you ask the cause of what you're doing, you will understand. Even the child over here, childhood depression is also something that is there. Children will not show the symptoms that I showed above. They will not feel, they will not tell you. They manifest their symptom as anger. They'll be so naughty, they'll be so angry, their marks will go. If you see a sudden drop in their marks, trust me, it's an indication. Ask the child, ask the teachers what is going on. Okay. And like, I'm not telling, some children are generally naughty, so I don't mean all of them are depressed for sure. But if you see a change in their character or their behavior, you ask them. How much ever busy you are, you take that time of your day and ask them what is the issue. Okay. The next one is anxiety disorder. So before I kind of differentiated between worry and stress, right? So both of them, if you see, there was a stressor. I am stressed because of exams. I am stressed because of marriage, whatever. Anxiety disorder again has physiological symptoms that I told you before, but more intense one. Their person can have lot of heartbeat, like very much increased heartbeat, vomiting sensation. There will be dry throat issues. There will be stiffness in the muscles. There will be lightheadedness, headaches, inability to relax, cannot fit, fidgeting, restlessness. Thoughts are very much related to the future. What will happen? And something that is differentiating stress and anxiety is anxiety does not need a stressor. I cannot tell you that because of exam I'm anxious. I am prepared, I am doing everything, everything is good, but still I don't know why I'm anxious. Stress will, they can tell you I'm stressed because of this. Anxiety, people who are experience anxiety disorder, they really don't know. Or they'll feel, I know this is very silly and I have all the resources to manage it, but still I don't know why I feel so anxious. This is a red signal. You need to seek treatment for it. Okay. Now, this is the difference between stress and anxiety. The most anxiety is a spectrum of disorders. Most common ones, the other first two ones, which I will be addressing. One is generalized anxiety disorder, which is GAD, which is one of the commonest among anxiety disorder. So, I'm just believing you are all understanding what I'm saying. For my satisfaction, can you give me a thumbs up in your chats? Great, great. Thank you. So the next one is the GAD, or the generalized anxiety disorder that I was just telling you. So this is also one of the commonest one. Like I said, the biggest symptom of this is there is no stressor. I don't know why I'm stressed, but then almost for months, 6 months minimum is the criteria for this to diagnose anxiety. I feel scared for some reason. I'm not sure why. Or I feel restless, my heartbeat is always in. So these people will go to the gastro doctor, they'll go to the heart doctor, and only then they come to the psychologist, because they're misdiagnosed with gastric issues and everything, because they have a lot of gastric issues. So usually GAD patients are referred by GI doctors actually. Even with panic disorders, actually, panic disorders, they get referred by heart cardiologist, because panic disorder is kind of like mimicking like heart attack. Suddenly there is a sudden feel of that I'm going to die, my heartbeat is so I just faint, or I just black out suddenly, and then it will go. That is a panic disorder that comes, that panic attacks that are coming. So if you have more than 3 panic attacks in a month, then also you're classified, you can be called, it can be called as a panic disorder. Okay. And social anxiety disorders are a very common right now, especially with young children after COVID. Okay. You had 2-3 years of lockdown and everything. We are so careful. After that, it is a very common problem. Now, I would like to tell you, expose your children more towards the society. It's not like pushing them to, if they're very scared of the society or anxious about the society or going to a social setting, first of all, do not take them to a sudden big party in the beginning. Maybe take them to a comfortable place, then slowly expose them slowly, and then they'll be little more better, because if it's the COVID issue that has triggered everything. Phobic disorder is also something which is not very common, but it is there. Phobia towards, like, some people tell me they're scared of snakes, or they're scared of heights and everything. They're not only scared of it, they're also like, they will not get out of the house because they fear there's a snake. And that thing is there, always, they're looking out for snakes. That kind of fear, excessive fear, unrealistic fear, is phobic disorder. So these are the stress disorders that people usually come up with. Now, a very common thing is the different addictions. Here, I would like to focus on the phone addiction. There's a new term also, nomophobia, which is no mobile phobia. It's actually, if you keep the phone away, if your network is suddenly gone, the fear that people have, like, what will happen now if something happens to me? How will I contact people? What will I do? I'm left with myself. Now, what will I do? All those things is something called nomophobia, which is a new recent term that has come. So here I'm talking with, this is a criteria for all substance use abuse, drug abuse, everything. Here I'm talking with respect to social media or phone addiction. Okay. So these are the symptoms. This is something I really want all of you to be mindful about. First thing is a strong desire or sense of compulsion to use it. So, there, your phone is there. It's a busy day, but you really want to check your phone, or you really want to scroll through the messages or see what is, what someone has uploaded. That is a red sign. Okay, there's a strong desire. Now, difficulty in controlling. You have decided, today I will use only 1 hour of social media. I will use my phone only for 1 hour. But even though you have decided it, you're not able to do it. There's difficulty in controlling your usage of phone. This is also a red signal, the second symptom of addiction. Third is withdrawal symptoms. if I'm not using the phone, if I've tried to control, I'm feeling little stressed, anxious, empty. I'm not feeling good. I'm feeling empty. If it is substance or if it is drug use or something, alcohol use, something, there'll be shivering of hands and other symptoms also, vomiting and everything. But with the phone, it is more of mental symptoms. Feeling like constant worry that, will I miss out on something? Is something new uploaded? All those things will be there. Evidence of tolerance. Like before, I needed only one or two videos to make my self feel better, but now I need to watch more videos to get that same satisfaction. That is your tolerance is increasing. The next one is neglect of your pleasurable activities or interests. You have other interests, you have other hobbies. You like cycling, you like going out for walk, you like traveling. You've just avoided everything and you're just focused on using your phone. The next last symptom is this. Um, you've been, everybody is telling you, or even intellectually this is bad, but still you're not able to, what do you say, control your usage of social media or your phone. This is also because it's bad, but still you're using it. Then that is also a symptom. If you have 3 or 4 symptoms among this, you have addiction towards phone. This is a very, very, very serious problem. It is also being very normalized these days, especially children. They want, cocoa melon for eating. They want cocoa melon to do everything. Okay, they're actually killing their creativity and making them more prone to mental health issues. Okay, so this is something actually all age groups have to manage a little more better. Now you might ask me, uh, why do people have mental health issues? Okay, is it like you told, like you might be telling, you told there's no specific, sometimes there'll be no reasons, then how it will come? These are the causes of mental health issues. This is a model called biopsychosocial model. I know this is a little technical, but I really want you to understand this because it will be an added information and it's very important information as well. So here, if you see, the first thing is biological. It can be the physical health of person. Okay, I missed a very important point. Always when a person or your child or you are feeling low in energy and everything, please get your vitamin D deficiency test, thyroid test, and vitamin B12 deficiency test, because these 3 elements actually mimic symptoms of depression. I've done a mistake when I was started my practice 4-5 years back. So what, there was a girl who had this issue, no other issues or anything, so just that she feels low throughout, and she's from a very well-off family. And I was thinking, what is the issue? There's no reason. So biological aspect, when I was thinking, the psychiatrist also told her to get these tests done. Actually, she had a very, very low B12 deficiency, and we just the psychiatrist just gave her medicines for that. Within 5 months, she was okay. We didn't. It was she was actually wrongly diagnosed by another psychologist as clinical depression. It was just a B12 deficiency. So get those parameters done. Okay, enough sunlight exposure and all those things are very important. Rich diet. I always recommend my members to a nutritionist who is also my sister, a cousin sister of mine. So even she, I like to work it in a more holistic way now, where the nutritionist is there, psychiatrist or psychologist is there. I'll just get to the treatment part later. Now here, biological part, like I said, it can be deficiencies, it can be genetic vulnerabilities, it can be drug effects, some medication, a short-term medication that has affected the thing. It can be even the neurotransmitters, like I said, the serotonin, dopamine, so many neurotransmitters are there in the brain. Imbalance of that can be an issue, like how your sugar is levels are increasing with high glucose. No, your diabetes is increasing because of high sugars, right? High glucose, right? Like that, you might get a mental health issue when your neurotransmitter like serotonin, if it reduces, you get depression. If your serotonin increases, you get a disorder called mania. So even that is a symptom. It is not related to some reason specifically. Okay, so this is where you need to consult a psychiatrist. So here the main treatment will be medication to get those neurotransmitters corrected. The second one is the social factors. For example, relationship issues, family issues, decision making, transitions in life, all those things will come under the social issues. Now, psychological bit is where your coping skills come in picture. How tolerant are you to stressors? Okay, family relationships, self-esteem issues, all those things, how you cope up with stress, your innate ability to manage stress, all those things come under psychological issue. This can be improved by the techniques I had mentioned earlier. This coping mechanisms and everything can be slowly improved and everything. And not one alone is not significant or not good, very much needed to make a mental health issue. A combination of these two, or a combination of these two, or a combination of all three can cause a mental health issue. Got it? So usually the psychiatrists deal with the biological aspect, and a clinical psychologist or counselors or therapists, or the counselors, everybody, they deal with the social and psychological aspects of this. So if it is a mild and or a moderate symptom or a moderate disorder in any of the areas, psychotherapy or counseling is enough. If it is severe, you need medication for some period of time. Now, brings to me the next topic, that is treatment of mental disorders, which we are almost done. Like I said, medication is used for the balancing of the neurotransmitters. Intense psychotherapy is used for certain mental disorders like clinical depression, clinical anxiety, and everything. We use cognitive behavioral therapy. There are a lot of therapies, list of therapies, and usually mindful based therapy, art therapy, family therapy. And I'll tell you a brief idea what are therapies also. Therapies are usually 45 minutes to 1 hour sessions, one-to-one sessions, where the person tells their problem. A proper diagnosis is done within the first or two sessions. Psychometrics means testings will be done to understand a little more about the patient, and also we will see what is good for the patient, and along with that we will take the therapy. Usually it takes around 6 or maybe 20 sessions also. Some people can take 6 sessions also, some people, according to the intensity of the problem. This can be there. And also all techniques will not work for everybody, so it's always we come up with new solutions and everything, and it is a beautiful journey. We can actually see the member or the patient getting better because it's a proper treatment method. Now, to all of you who are there, these few things, please keep in mind. Okay, when somebody is telling you an issue, always understand that be non-judgmental. Do not judge their clothing. Do not judge how they look. Do not judge their facial expression. What they're saying and what they're looking like is not matching. There was an auntie who came to me and told me, this my daughter, no, you see her style. Do you think she will do such things? Do you think she actually feels this manner? Don't be judgmental. If you're being judgmental, the person will not tell you anything, because the person will feel even more hopeless, right? She's trying to tell you something, trying to cope up with something, but this is the reaction that people are giving. Be empathetic, okay? Just don't be sympathetic, just give her solutions, and also guide them to a professional. When I say solutions, a very sensitive thing I told. Do not bombard them with solution. You can give them suggestions. Okay, this is something you can try. Okay, I heard a topic like this. Try box breathing. This is how you do. This is how you do box breathing. Or, write it down. You can take a picture of this hand, and inside the hand, you do this, do that. You can suggest them. Maybe those techniques are not enough for working with them, because they might have major issues. That time, guide them to a professional, or guide them to a counselor, to a therapist, to a psychiatrist. Okay, just guide them, and then tell him, this. What you can do is you can find out numbers from the internet. Okay, you can find out numbers, or you guide them to some person you already know who's in the field and everything, so that is easy for them, because they might not have the energy to act, or the motivation to actually search or anything. That help you can do. Keep in touch with them. Okay, ask them whether are you going for therapy, or are you meeting those people. Did you call him? You can ask that, take a follow-up of what they're doing, so that because very much hesitation and motive, because they're going to put their problems to a stranger, or they're going to tell them, and they don't know what is therapy or anything. So it's going to be they'll feel double-minded about this. You need to encourage them a little more. Be confidential. So this is one of the biggest thing I want to tell you, everybody. Do not tell if they're not comfortable with their problems being shared to other people. When they're telling you something, please be confidential. This is very sensitive, not like other problems. They don't want to, be a discussion. What you can do is for praying for them. I always tell that, like, let me take this opportunity to tell you, I've heard many churches pray for, patients who have cancer, patients who are going through infertility, patients who are having a lot of issues. But rarely have I heard people praying for people who are mentally ill. I know there's a lot of stigmatized thing, but start praying from today onwards for people who have mental health issues. Okay, these are very vulnerable people. There is a lot of less reporting over here. After COVID, one thing I'll tell you is, we used to sit in hospitals before. All of us used to sit in hospitals, clinics. Now, after COVID, one blessing in disguise is that most of us are also practicing online. Okay. So you can sit in your own comfort zone, talk to a person, and get a scientific thing. You can talk to a counselor. I think most of the counselors also, they take online sessions and everything. They make use of those things. Okay. So yeah, one thing is pray for them. And one of the biggest, best therapists that the world has seen is Jesus Christ. He has all these qualities. And of course, praying for them makes a lot of difference. So I think I am done. I've taken exact 1 hour. And thank you all. Thank you again, the church, who has given me this opportunity to talk. And selecting this topic was a big decision. And I thank that you have done it. I hope I have helped people who are here. Thank you so much. I am open to questions.
Yeah, thank you, Davina, for that session. I mean, that really covered it's a lot of topics to cover, but you gave us a very crisp understanding of all those major things that, whether we're working, studying, those things that we go through to get a good clarity on that. So thank you for that session. Now, moving on to the questions. So I have received some questions. So the first question is, so I think you were referring to sometimes the high functioning depression is caused because of some, imbalances which they themselves may not be aware of. So some person has asked, are there any tests to check hormonal imbalances?
Actually, there are no tests to check the hormonal imbalances. How we differentiate is this: when a person comes to us in the thing, we ask them, like I do ask them as a therapist, do you have any specific reason to feel depressed? That is one indication that anyone can do. They say, no, I didn't have anything of that sort. There's nothing much, but I still feel that manner. Then it can be an indication that there are hormonal imbalances. Okay, this is one thing that you can ask the member. And also, there will be some things that have happened many years back. Okay, once upon a time, or 5 years back, I had this instance, and then now also I'm not over it. Then also, that prolonged stress had led to depression, because prolonged stress is very dangerous. Okay, stress for some period of time is okay, it's normal, but prolonged stress can cause this hormonal imbalances that are there. So even instances or situations can cause this imbalances later.
Right. So another question that has come in is, so say in a close friend or a relative, we are seeing signs of clinical depression, but they are in denial of it, or they're not accepting that they need help. So is there any way, we can still, reach out to them or help them in any way?
First, you need to, ask them if what is their idea about what is going to be the treatment. Okay, so the question is, they're in denial that they have clinical depression. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe you can ask them open-ended question, but sometimes I felt like your behavior is a little changed. That's what I can see, but I don't know what you feel. Okay, but do you think you need help? Or, do you think there's a difference in you right now? Because they need to identify there is an issue, because denial is very common, right? Do you think you need help, or do you need this one or any help of that sort? If they say no, I'm absolutely fine, and they're angry, give them some time, because what you have told has clicked them somewhere. You cannot force anyone to therapy, you cannot force them, but you can catch up on them. Just show their concern, because they might be hesitant in telling you, they might not be denying, they don't know how to go about it. Because in our spiritual, or in our Christian thing, what is happening is there's a lot of guilt also. I'm a believer, but why do I feel this man? This is a big point. Okay, if I tell somebody that I am going through depression clinical, they might feel my faith is bad, or I'm not having faith. Okay, they might judge me. Okay, so when you genuinely pray for the person, when you genuinely ask them, not push them, but ask them after some time, like, are you fine? Do you want me to come over? Are you okay? Then slowly they might be opening up. They don't know the ways. You can always tell them indirectly the ways that you can give them numbers, so then that one step is over. You just need to, maybe one day they will give a call, because I've had patients like that.
Right. Yeah, so that is an interesting. I mean, even though they're denying, there's no way to force, but we just try to prod them
Yes.
into deeper thought. Right.
Yes.
Another question is, at what point does excessive anger between spouses reflect a deeper psychological problem?
This is a very tricky question. Okay. So anger in couples is actually a very common thing. It is because of the lack of communication. Okay. The person feels, the husband or the wife feels, I need to shout and tell something, only then the person will hear what I'm saying. Okay. And they feel misunderstood. They don't feel that, they're being heard to anybody. Right. So actually, anger is not good. In any levels, it is not good. So there's no, I cannot tell you like this much amount of anger is bad, this much amount anger is good. It's nothing like that. Okay. Like I'll tell you, every emotion is good. So if in cold countries, you have fireplaces, right? And there you have this fire. That fire is good, right? It is protecting you from that. So every emotion is like that. But imagine there's a curtain next to that fire, and the curtain is on fire. Okay. Is that fire good? Same with anger. Okay. Anything that is affecting your marriage or the trust or the comfort zone of the couples, it is dangerous. So, what I can give you a quick tip also is this, that when a person, or when you are emotional, okay, there's a part of your brain which is hypersensitive. That is called this one. My God, I mean thalamus. Okay. So what is happening is, when that part is sensitive, your rational thinking, your decision making, the way you're speaking, everything gets affected. Okay. So wait for your emotion to calm down and then tell. Don't swallow what you wanted to tell. That is also bad. Tell them after a 5 to 10 minutes break, when your emotions are calmer. Okay. Make sure your partner's emotions are also calmer, so that you can talk more rationally than emotionally. This will solve a lot of, I would even say, encourage people, couples to have talk time, families to have talk time before dinner, after dinner. That's a very good practice families can, have. So this is something I really want to focus. Like, have a lot of communication. If it's needed, go for trips. Go for trips. Communicate. Take a break. It's okay. Nothing you're going to lose if you take a break and get it sorted. Because once you come from work, you're with your wife or your spouse. Now you need peace there, right? So do anything that gives you peace. Sorry.
Yeah. So another question is that, so in some cases, say we're going through a temporary low, or maybe it's a mild depression or severe depression. So in some cases, maybe just internal techniques like the box breathing you were mentioning, or spiritual help, or sharing with a friend itself might help me become better. Whereas in other cases, I might need therapy or even medication. So how do I know in which stage am I in, and what kind of help is required?
Okay. Now I'll just share my slide again so that you will understand a little more. It is okay. Okay, no problem. So the thing is, if your symptoms, if you have suicidal wish or death wish, and it's been long, since a very long period of time, you feel that manner, and it is actually really affecting your what do you say, work, your studies, and everything. You're not, you tried everything, you tried all this things, not working. Okay, you tried exercise and everything, not working. Then you need therapy. See, therapy or counseling can be done before also. You don't need to reach that level. Therapy can be done in mild level also, not an issue. Okay. So medication at that time, probably we'll tell, you can also have help of medication for some time with therapy, and then slowly you can avoid the medication. Okay. Now, if it is mild level, there is something called adjustment disorders. Okay. If your mood is getting better after 2 to 3 weeks, then it is fine. You don't have to do anything. If your mood is still consistent for the past 2 weeks and above that also, then it is a red alarm. You need some external help. See whether the first techniques are working or not. Do whatever is possible. And then if it's not working, you need a professional help.
So that's all the questions. So if anybody else has any questions, you can even unmute yourself or put it in the chat. So also to announce, so the next session would be from the biblical perspective. So now we got a good understanding of the clinical perspective, but what does the Bible say about it, and what's the Christian understanding of mental health is what we will be seeing next month, October 7th, and it will be handled by Dr. Alexander George. So, so that we'll get a fuller understanding of mental health, both from the clinical as well as the biblical perspective. So if there are no more questions, I would request Divina to pray and close the session.
Do we need to give 5 minutes for them to ask any questions first?
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can wait.
So is there anything else or anything that I've told that you've not understood or you want more clarity in? You can just unmute yourself and ask.
Divina, you told you will tell about this one, no? Box breathing.
Box breathing. Oh yeah, thank you so much, Anis ma'am. Like, you reminded me this. Okay. So let's all do that once. Okay. For the next 2 minutes. Okay. This is, like I said, first you need to inhale for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and again hold your breath for 4 seconds. Is that clear? Okay. One tip I will give you is some people will not be able to take that full 4 seconds. Maybe within 2 seconds, they will fully inhale. So one small tip is you can lower your head a little bit, and from here you can inhale. Okay. Use your lungs for the inhaling. Okay. That is one thing that we can do. So can we do that? Just for 2 minutes, can we practice it? I will not be able to do it because I have a cold. So, if you can turn on your cameras, it would be good. If not, also, it's okay. Let's do it for this one. You can close your eyes, sit straight. When you're inhaling, make sure your stomach is going out. Okay, this is one mistake. When you're inhaling, your stomach should come out. If it's not coming out, intentionally push it out. If you're exhaling, you're breathing out, your stomach should go in. Okay, so shall we start? Okay, so you can inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath 1, 2, 3, 4. So for now, we'll just do this. And also you can even do a small exercise here. You can rate your, stress before, and after doing it, you can again rate your stress within 5. You can see the reduction. And you can do it every day, 5 minutes, anytime, morning, evening, anytime, and practice this when you're stressed or angry as well. I think we have more questions that are
One more
coming in.
question. Yes, we
Yeah.
have another question that is, will taking medication for any mental health issues make one overweight or have any other side effects? What are the side effects of these medications?
Okay, I'm glad this question came up. I should have been covering this. Usually there are a lot of myths around medication also. Now, if you see, there are first generation, second generation, third generation medications. Okay. So, one thing is this. Initially, the old doctors used to give first generation medication, which had really strong side effects. Okay, like drooling, feeling very lethargic, always sleeping, so that nerves are calmer and all that. Now it is so much better, and they hardly have no side effects. Some medications for some people can cause a little of weight gain, but that can be addressed with extra exercise, nutrition, and everything. If it's balanced, that is also something. Depression ka medication do not have major or even like see, every medicines have their own side effects. For example, we are okay with having lifelong diabetic medicines, right? That much side effects, nothing like psychiatric medication do not have. Okay, only thing with the anxiety medication is this, like Nexito and all those things. There are anxiety medication. If you use them for a prolonged period of time, there'll be a little bit of dependency on that, because like I said, anxiety has a lot of physical symptoms. So when you feel that physical symptoms, to calm yourself immediately, you want to have a tablet. So that is something that always have medication at the right time, at the prescribed dosage. Do not have extra medications or anything. If you're using it now, if you're going to a good psychiatrist, they'll start with the right dosage. Medications will take time, 2 weeks at least, to start acting on your body, because it's that mild, and slowly it will be reduced. So don't worry about the medication part. I
So
think
another
Dipti or
person
some.
has asked, so if you want to be confidential and not put it in the larger chat, I'm just reminding again, you can just send it to questions, or you can directly send it to Divina as well. So another question that has come in is oneself, or especially of a teenager, like they are just muttering or talking to murmuring among themselves quietly when they're alone. Is that a concern, or is that indicate stress or something?
This is a big concern. Okay, I did not cover that because of the lack of time and everything, but since the question has come, I will tell you this. Okay, so there is another there are two types of psychiatric disorders. Neurotic disorders, which is depression, anxiety, OCD, and everything. The second one is psychotic disorders. Okay, this is also a very strong red signal. Okay, most of the treatment is with medication itself, less of therapy. Therapy is mostly for the caregivers. So here what is happening is there's a hormone called dopamine. The spike of it can cause psychotic symptoms, like talking to self, or murmuring, or seeing things that are not there, hearing things that are not there, and everything. So this can be schizophrenia, which is the cancer of psychiatry, we call it. It can be a psychotic symptom. Even with some certain severe depression, also clinical symptoms like psychotic symptoms can come. One of my members, one of my patients, I still remember, she used to think that there is a camera fit in her room. Okay, and somebody is seeing whatever she is doing. She was a person with depression, mostly symptoms of depression, but she had psychotic symptoms. Like, these people can see things and hear things that are not there. So this is also something. Usually the onset is in the 17, 18, within 21 years of age, mostly. So have I answered your question, Diti?
Yes. Yeah.
Diti is my sister, by the way. Okay.
And did you, I mean, if there are any other questions You can, unmute also and ask, need not be just the chat.
I think there's a question related to bipolar disorder.
Okay, I'm not
Right?
able to see it, but yeah, you can go ahead and address it. Maybe
I
they.
just saw a pop-up. Okay. So a bipolar disorder is like the two poles. Okay. So there is a depression ka episode and there is a mania ka episode. Mania is actually the extreme opposite of depression. Okay. Where the person feels very high, very elated mood will be there. The person might feel, I don't need sleep. I just don't need sleep. I can, in cold, when I was working in Jaipur and all, during really winters, they sleep with wearing a small thin cloth. They don't feel the cold and all those things. So, a episode of a depression and a mania can classify as a bipolar disorder, but not specifically that the mania should come in this much intensity. Some people have this symptom also. There'll be a prolonged period of depression, and after some time, after 2 or 3 months, they'll have hypomania. It's called little bit of mania. They're just excited, they want to go everywhere, they're ready for anything, they'll spend enough money, they're always there, they're always there jumping around, having, but when you see them, you'll just feel they're just excited, extra excited. These are hypomanic episodes. That is also an indication of bipolar. So if you have one episode of depression and one episode of mania in a year span, it is bipolar disorder.
So another term that you used, which I would like more clarity on, you said that there is a neurotic class and there's a psychotic type of thing. So what is the difference between these two, neurotic and psychotic?
Okay, so neurotic is mostly, the main difference is this, that a person with a neurotic disorder knows that he or she has an issue. Okay, I am having this issue, I am having this problem, and I need treatment, I need help. They will come up and tell, like, something is wrong with me. These people will feel bad that they're people who struggle. Psychotic people, the insight will be very low. There's no insight. They don't think they have an issue. Okay, the people around them will have a problem taking care of them. They are in an alternative world. They're in their lost world. Okay, so they have a lot of symptoms. They have a lot of unreal symptoms. Like, like I said, delusions and hallucinations. These are two things that the psychotic spectrum have. Okay, delusions is like, you tell them that their beliefs are wrong, it's not rational. They say, no, it is rational. I had a member who actually, what do you say, thought she used to have only white food, white color food. She should not have anything colored, because anything colored is poisonous for her. She thinks it's poisonous. It's a delusion. We try to challenge that thought, that will not change. She truly believes in it. She will have only white color food. So it's a delusion. She's in her own path and she thinks she's right. She's confident that she's right. So the insight level is very different for these two classifications.
Right. So a follow-up on that is a person is asking, so psychotic symptoms, we can understand that somebody has that only from the caregiver. Is that the case most of the time?
No. We can understand psychotic disorders more from, the details of the disorder, of course, a caregiver can give, but the diagnosis is easier for the clinician because the behavior is always like that. For example, if a psychotic person is next to me, he might even talk to themselves. Okay, like he will just, you have seen people on road, right? Like, they'll be just talking to themselves. Suddenly they'll look to a corner, then they'll be like this, they'll be distracted, then suddenly they'll get up. So these are the things, actually, this is a set of population which the movies portray. That is why there's a lot of stigma also around mental illness, because they think that is psychiatric illness. Depression and anxiety is all not a part of illness. So, of course, the details of the disorder, the onset, the progress of the problem and everything, the caregiver will give us more information.
Right. I think you answered that question, but just to call out again. So the question is, so if sometimes the caregiver or maybe they have a wrong motive or sometimes they're giving false symptoms. So is there any way where the clinician will be able to cross-check and validate, or should we just take the caregiver's symptoms?
No, of course not. Of course not. We do have specific ways of interviewing psychotic people. Okay. So I actually had a case when I was working in a hospital. I will not mention the hospital's name. Long back, when I was a trainee, actually, the person was admitted in the hospital for 2-3 months. The patients have given them a big amount for them to hospitalize him. He had absolutely no issues. Absolutely no issues. And actually, the even the people used to know, but then they couldn't do anything because, yeah, of the politics and everything. So we can, by clinical interviewing, we will tell them, these are and these are very problematic also, because we have court cases that are coming, who has murdered people, who have done domestic violence and everything. So they act psychotic for them to have lenience. They'll act, but then we'll understand because there'll be discrepancy in what they're saying. In 1 or 2 sessions, we'll ask them what is the issue, what do they think. It is very easily diagnosed, actually. Psychotic issues are very easily diagnosed.
Right. So another question is specific tips to help adolescent phase teenagers going through depression, especially in the 12 to 15 age group. Are there specific ways in which, as a parent, you can deal with adolescent depression?
Okay. So like I said, in adolescent depression, the manifestation of symptom will be different. Okay. It can be anything. It can be excessive anger. Now, like I said, anger does not mean because their hormones are at their peak, they want to explore a lot, and so many things are there. They are generally in a very aggressive or little bit angry mode. They find everything silly. But if there is a significant anger, they stop talking to you and everything, it can be an indication and everything. And how you can help them is by being non-judgmental. I would emphasize this point a little more for the parents, because what happens is there's a lot of expressed emotion with the parents. What expressed emotion meaning? The parents will take their concerns very personally. They feel guilty for what the son is or the daughter is feeling. So they'll take that extra leap and they'll keep telling what is your issue, what is your issue, tell me what is the issue, and so much push. And then the adolescent at the teenage age will hate that more. So they'll be more angry. So one thing is this: you talk to them, make a space for him to tell you what is the issue, but don't compel them. They will only come to you and tell. Keep a touch or keep a close watch on the behavioral aspects. When is he sleeping, especially? Okay. When is he sleeping? Is he sleeping on time? Okay. Is the room in his light in his room? This one. You can even have you can ask him, like, you can see his facial expression. You can ask him, did you sleep, and everything. Now there's a lot of drug issues and everything that is happening, and because of that it can feel that the person is having low mood or is he going through depression, but the reason can be different. Okay, so keep a very close watch on your adolescents, whether they're doing in everything. They should not feel that you're behind them, but you should monitor them. That is one thing. We can give them freedom and everything, but monitor them. And also you can tell them to, if they're not comfortable with their parents, you can make an opportunity to talk to a counselor. You can talk to a counselor. Their counselor is not going to tell us anything. If you want, if you feel like talking to them, you can just give them, this platform to give a talk. And like I said, talk time in families will really help, where there's a space for you to tell. And when you tell also, don't give your kind of solutions. Like your kind of solutions, and then do this, do that, do this. Bombard them with solutions which they can't do. Tell them what you can. Ask them. So for this, what is your plan of action? How do we work as a team, or how do you think you can handle this problem? So let him come up with solutions which are practical for him, and then see if it is good enough, and then do that. So this is one thing. Talk to your adolescents. Be in touch with the teachers. That is also very important. Especially smaller classes, just be in touch with your friends, the teachers, and everything.
Yeah. So another question is, so somebody who is suffering from overthinking in the sense of like they're always comparing themselves to others, and then they're feeling like, so in this example, like they see what others are doing or putting themselves in other situations and thinking that, okay, I'm not as good as them, or I'm a bad wife, and maybe putting yourself in negative situations and letting yourself get affected by that and overthinking in terms of comparisons.
Okay, so is it because of social media influence that she's saying, or comparing a real person?
No, putting herself in in those situations, like maybe it's putting. Yeah, so I think comparisons with maybe peers or the social group.
Okay. Now, this is a very, very in-depth thing. There's a lot of exploration needed from where the comparison is coming from. Okay. What is it? Inferiority complex? Is she feeling inferior to someone? Is it her confidence issue? Is it a skill-based issue? Is she actually lacking in skills as a student, as a wife? No, so do we need to focus on the skills that she has to develop? Is it a self-esteem issue where she thinks there's a discrepancy between real self and ideal self? Some people in their mind, they think they are, they need to be this. Their expectation is very high from themselves. Like if I'm a student, I need to wake up at 4 o'clock. I have to study till 6. Then I have to take a bath. Then I have to go to. This is the expectation. But in real life, they might be getting up at 6:30, going for a bath, going to school, coming back like a normal thing. When there's a lot of discrepancy, there's a lot of comparison with others or the ideal self who are actually portraying to be an ideal image. So there's a lot of things. Where is it coming from is one thing that we need to address. Where is it coming from? So if that's the case, if social media is a platform, I would highly suggest people to go off the social media, because that is one thing that I'm facing a lot with my members. They tell, my friends are having a very good. Tell me, have you ever posted a mark where you have failed in social media? Have you ever posted a video where you're hitting, getting hittings from your parents or something? Only good things people post, right? So do not compare reels with real life. Okay. And also, you are unique. God has made you in a very unique manner. So be yourself. You have your own qualities. That other person might have their own qualities. Okay. So I always tell my patients also, in therapy, one thing that we have the tendency is to work on things that you don't have. Okay, you don't have this, we are building on that. But as a therapist, it's very important, and as a person also, it's very important to build on what you have. What are your skills you have? Are you enhancing it? You're good at something, do it. Enhance that skill along with building something else. So be yourself. If it's a skill that you think you don't have, it can be learned. Why can't it be learned? Right? You can always learn. Yeah. So, yeah.
And the next question is, so a teenager closing the room most of the time, is that a cause for concern, or is that within the realm of normal behavior?
Okay. It can be a concern also. It can be a normal behavior also. Okay. So it depends if the child is closing the room and then he is okay with his studies and he just wants his privacy. He's in the teenage age and he wants, I am something, only my friends are good enough. All these people are old fashioned. If that's the normal teenage thing, it is fine. But too much of closing this room is also not a something that, because see, now the problem is there's a lot of porn addictions as well. Okay. So internet is easily available and everything. And kids these days are quite addicted to it. Okay. Let me be really honest. So this is something that we really need to address. So, maybe turning off the Wi-Fi, which is going to be a difficult thing for the parents also, because parents are also used to using their phones, right? So turning off the Wi-Fi, having a what do you say? There are some apps which can actually tell you, or I don't know exactly, but actually can track the phone usage of your child, limit your screen time and all those things. There are options like that now, which I am not very aware of. but then there are options like that. And also see, like, is there a smell when he's coming out? Is there, like, a different smell, a smoking smell that he have done, or any substance smell that is there? Is his eyes red? These are small things that you can look. How is he walking? Is he walking steady? All those things can be done when in a closed room, right? These are the fears also parents have, whether they just have a close observation on those kind of things a little more. And then, of course, like, studies are always an indication. Make sure that they study as well, and they have their, if there's a drastic change, then you need to be worried. Yeah.
So thank you for answering all those questions, Davina. So yeah, that was the last question. I didn't see any more coming in. So yeah, with that, we will close for this. And again, we will meet in the next Choose Life session on October 7th, again on mental health, but from the biblical perspective. So thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining as well. So I would request you to close in prayer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Oh Lord, Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, O Lord. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to come into your presence. And Lord, thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk about this topic. Lord, I hope, Lord, you have made everybody understand. And, we pray for everybody here. We pray for the families. We pray for the church, everybody here, Lord. Thank you for hearing our prayers. In the most precious name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
A choice is set before you now, living or dying, blessing or cursing. And know the time has come around to turn from your fighting and rest in his mercy. Choose life that you might live, the life that he gives.